ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे। Okay, 3:26:22। स्वच्छत्वम् अविकारित्वं शान्तत्वम् इति चेतसः वृत्तिभिर्लक्षणं प्रोक्तं यथापां प्रकृतिपरा। After the manifestation of the Mahat Tattva, these features appear simultaneously as water in its natural state before coming in contact with earth is clear, sweet and unruffled. So the characteristic traits of pure consciousness are complete serenity, clarity and freedom from distraction. The pure status of consciousness or Krishna consciousness exists in the beginning. Just after creation, consciousness is not polluted. The more one becomes materially contaminated, however, the more consciousness becomes obscured. In pure consciousness, one can perceive a slight reflection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As in clear, unagitated water free from impurities, one can see everything clearly. So in pure consciousness or Krishna consciousness, one can see things as they are. One can see the reflection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one can see his own existence as well. This state of consciousness is very pleasing, transparent, and sober. In the beginning, consciousness is pure. In the beginning, consciousness is pure. Then, as one becomes materially contaminated, it starts becoming contaminated. So, our process now is to go back from that contamination, go back to the pure state. The contamination has to be removed. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, yogi actually works only for purification. There is no other intent of his works. He doesn't do anything for any other reason. His only intent is to purify himself. So we should always be on the lookout. We should never do anything which furthers our contamination. The state of consciousness which we don't have experience right now is very pleasing, transparent and sober. Sober, dhira. Mm. Here also it's saying freedom from distraction. So very clear, fixed, and these are traits of pure consciousness. And so being sober uh, basically means that not getting materially carried away. So always seeing everything by the vision of Guru Sadhu Shastra, not whimsically. And because an excited person, a sober person is not excited. Excited person is generally in the mode of passion and he cannot distinguish between right and wrong. Sober person is in the mode of goodness, so he can distinguish between right and wrong. So it's important that we remain sober in our thoughts, dealings, actions, etc. Nowadays, this being sober is like a disqualification. You have to be like passionate, running around, doing stuff. We have to be sober, yet be active for Krishna. Sober doesn't mean inaction. Sober just means completely controlled thought process. Not that a sober person doesn't smile, mm, or is not jovial, but very, very weighed. Like whatever he says, does, etc. Is doesn't is not whimsical. It's a very important quality, actually, very difficult to develop. Because generally we've been trained to be the opposite of sober. Anyway, so this is state of pure consciousness. And subsequently, this consciousness starts getting impure. Mahatatvad vikurvanad bhagavatvirya sambhavat kriya shaktirhankaras vividah tamapadyata vaikharikastaijasascha tamasascha yato bhavah manasaschendriyanam cha bhutanam mahatam api. The material ego springs up from Mahatattva, which evolved from the Lord's own energy. So first material ego comes. Material ego is endowed predominantly with active power of three kinds: good, passionate, and ignorant. So Rajoguna, Tamoguna, Satoguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. And so now material ego will manifest in those gunas. It is from these three types of material ego. Three types meaning one in Satvaguna, one in Rajoguna, one in Tamoguna. Hmm. So mind, senses of perception, organs of action, and gross elements evolve. In the beginning, from clear consciousness or the pure state of Krishna consciousness, the first contamination sprang up. We discussed this yesterday. This is called false ego or identification of the body as self. Like we discussed, this is the connection, link between the us as the Atma and the Deha. Please remember this false ego. You should not forget this false ego. Every time we are in false ego, I mean, I keep thinking unconsciously, meaning we are not Krishna conscious, mm, material consciousness. Generally, we just tend to think on the material platform. Actually, we are so fortunate if we had to, process of jnana would have been so difficult. Every moment we have to keep thinking, oh, I'm not body, I'm spirit soul. Oh, I'm not body, spirit, I'm spirit soul. Oh, why am I looking at the body? Oh, why am I talking on the bodily platform? No, we are so fortunate by this process of bhakti, we can automatically overcome this false ego. But again, as I've repeatedly said, automatically means that when one continuously ahitukya pratihata engages in devotional service, then not when we are doing part time. Right now we are doing part time bhakti. Actually, yesterday I was translating one of Prabhupada's lectures on Bhagavad Gita, second chapter is discussing about Sthita Pragna. So you're simply saying that we don't have to change our position. We don't have to give up our job. We have to change our consciousness. We have to work for Krishna. Mm. When we work for Krishna, meaning whatever we are doing. So you're saying, oh, if somebody is a doctor, it's not that he should stop being a doctor. Uh, He should do that as a service to Krishna. Now, which basically means there's no platform of sense gratification. And also there is a thought process of using the outcome directly in Krishna service. And if there is any inspiration, motivation required to work, it is just that outcome is being used in Krishna service. The rest is being just done as a matter of duty, like no attachment. Okay, I have this occupation, I'm just doing it for Krishna. Now that is Krishna consciousness. Uh, or if we just think, oh, okay, I'm not supposed to be attached to this work, but I'm going to use the result in Krishna. Just that thought process makes us Krishna conscious. Right? So that means that every incident where there is some kind of a sense gratification which is possible at work, then we will automatically restrain ourselves. then it becomes Krishna conscious throughout the day. But if we simply just do chanting in the morning and then little bit reading here and there, and then the rest of the day we just like working, just like literally competing with other karmis. Prabhupada in the first chapter Bhagavatam, he says that devotees are not competing. Devotees don't do any competition. We are not competing with this material world. Mm. And many devotees I see, saying, "Oh, my job, somebody else got promotion, I didn't get this, that," which means that we are still in competition mode, meaning we are in material consciousness. Why Krishna spoke 2 chapters or more verses on karma? For the simple reason that most of us grihasthas, working people, if that consciousness during working period and consciousness about how to use the outcome, if it is not Krishna conscious, then the 2 hours that we are doing is not going to be of uh, real benefit, because when we start trying to live like this is when it's literally like full-time devotion, because the consciousness is always Krishna, what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, how do I follow it? And when we live like that, automatically false ego will be vanquished, right? Because that whole approach of that karma yoga is to actually not work on the platform of false ego. Mm. And when we add a consciousness of bhakti, it even becomes better. Because in karma yoga, there is no concept of bhakti. In karma yoga, it is simply, okay, I should not enjoy these fruits. So I will offer it to somebody superior. Okay, I'll offer it to Krishna. But there's nothing, no attraction to Krishna, no bhakti, nothing. That's a lower platform, but the principle remains. Principle of how to work remains. Even for a devotee who is working, the same principle remains. But he will do it for the pleasure of Krishna. Oh, Krishna has given these instructions in Bhagavad Gita. For whom? For me, because I'm working. For somebody who's not working and always 100% of the time engaged in Krishna consciousness with absorption. mm, there's no absorption again. It's better than doing some other work, but it's not the highest platform. So it has to be with full absorption of Krishna consciousness. And for such people, very soon, these things will be accomplished. Provided they are sincere, they are doing proper shravanam, they are in the right mood, automatically false ego will be, they'll win over. And that is the reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and said preaching movement. And that is the reason why I keep bringing the focus back to preaching. The preaching movement is absorbing. It poses a lot of challenges. Not just about how to, get people, how to retain them, but also how to deal with other devotees. So many challenges. And in every situation, if you can remain Krishna conscious, Guru Sadhu Shastra, then we are going to make tremendous progress. And it absorbs our consciousness, because there's so many things to be done. And many a times things are not going to be so easy. We are preaching, but people are not coming regularly. They're not serious. People are coming and going. So many challenges are there. And constantly, when we're thinking about it, where is the question of false ego? Where is the question of me in that picture, in that, whole thought process? So automatically, false ego goes up. Now, when we don't have that engagement and we are sitting, you know, at home, without any serious engagement in Krishna consciousness, obviously we'll be working on the platform of false ego. We should become like drunkards. We should become drunkards of Krishna consciousness. Then we will lose this material false ego consciousness. Otherwise, it'll keep going on. I mean, devotees have been there in the movement for a long time. Still, they'll be struggling. So we have to commit. We have to commit ourselves, and it's always good if we do it beyond our comfort zone. I keep saying this. Go beyond comfort zone. Don't just keep doing things for Krishna as much as is naturally possible for you, right? If I can just do something very easily, then you should take up something more which will make it slightly difficult for us. That's when the absorption will come. For example, somebody is practicing to climb a hill, and yeah, for him, like Ramnagara hill is very easy. So he just keeps climbing like we are walking on flat road. He's just like climbing and getting down, climbing and now what is the big deal? Now he has to pick up something better, bigger, more difficult than Ramnagaram. Then he's going to put some effort, right? Then he's going to think, he's going to do some, his own sadhana, whatever is required to get there. So always we should do beyond our comfort zone, but not too much also. I mean, we can do too much, but because we don't have full faith, we should take little by little, keep pushing, pushing, pushing. And then when we have full faith in Krishna and Guru and Krishna, then we say, okay, I'm going to take this up. Somebody said, take up this service. Okay, it's way beyond me. No problem. I'll surrender. This is the opportunity to surrender, right? It's very, very important. See, unless we engage like this, na, the false ego will just continue. It's not going to go. The living entity exists in the natural state of Krishna consciousness, but he has marginal independence. And this allows him to forget Krishna. See, this is also so important. Actually, we keep hearing these things, but we have to keep reflecting. How much am I misusing my independence? How much am I misusing? Mm, and I'm repeating this. We discussed this before. Have a notebook. Have your own personal diary. On a daily basis, make note of what all you did which is not Krishna conscious. Mm. And what you think you should change. This is your personal diary. You don't have to like share it with anybody. You say, okay, these all things today were not Krishna conscious, and this is what I am trying to. I don't want to repeat this for tomorrow, like that. Because then we will not forget Krishna. We'll not forget Krishna. Because all these situations that are actually taking us away from Krishna, if we can keep working on them, we will never forget Krishna. Because why are we working on them in the first place? To please Krishna, because Krishna wants us to be like this. And then automatically consciousness becomes pure. Originally, pure consciousness exists, but because of misuse of marginal independence, there's a chance of forgetting Krishna. This is exhibited in actual life. There are many instances in which someone acting in Krishna consciousness suddenly changes. See, literally, Prabhupada is saying suddenly falls. In the Upanishads, it is therefore stated that the path of spiritual realization is just like the sharp edge of a razor. The example is very appropriate. One shaves his cheeks with a sharp razor very nicely, but as soon as his attention is diverted, he immediately cuts his cheek because he mishandles the razor. So we have to be very, very careful. Unfortunately, we don't take these things so seriously. It's like yesterday I was talking to somebody, and generally we're talking about some health issues, etc. And I was just telling that person, saying that, see, you're abusing your body right now. You're overworking, you're not eating healthy food, etc., etc. Now what will happen? Now your system is okay. You'll think that, okay, I can put anything into my system and it's just sturdy and going fine. You're not paying attention. Now when it breaks down, when your system breaks down, then you will realize how difficult it is going to be to bring it back, right? So always we have to be very conscious about what we are doing, how we are doing, for whom are we doing. If by chance we end up doing anything for our personal whim, be it sense gratification, be it just false ego, be it just pride, whatever it is, when we come down from the platform of Krishna consciousness, going back up is very, 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 very difficult. No, always remember Anartha Nivritti is a stage where you are cycling uphill. You're on a cycle on an uphill, on a slope hill. Imagine you're cycling and cycling, pedaling and pedaling and pedaling, and for a second you will stop pedaling. What will happen? You will just go down so fast. It took you maybe half an hour for some to cover some distance uphill, and the same distance downhill will be done like in few minutes. And now imagine, now you're already tired and you went back. You've been already struggling and you went back. Now the same stretch that you covered in half an hour will possibly take you 1 hour now. Right? What is going to make it easy? Somebody is going to come and pull me. Then that 30, maybe I'll cover it in 30 minutes. Maybe it's so powerful that I'll cover it in 15 minutes back. Right? But that inattention is very, very expensive. So we should never take bhakti lightly. We are not here for enjoyment. We're not here for enjoyment. And without knowing, we end up doing so many seva aparadhs. Seva aparadh, we discuss in Madhurya Kadambini. Seva aparadh becomes nama aparadh when we don't rectify ourselves. And nama aparadh means down. That's it. We go down.
अंकल केते सीनियर मोटू बहुत बापा हम
Not only must one come to the stage of pure Krishna consciousness, but one must be also very careful. Any inattentiveness or carelessness may cause fall down. This fall down is due to false ego. Please note how important treating this false ego is. From the status of pure consciousness, the false ego is born because of misuse of independence. Can somebody explain this? From the status of pure consciousness, false ego is born because of misuse of independence. What is Prabhupada saying here?
We all have free will.
Hmm.
So, using free will, we are not serving the Lord, rather choosing to sense gratify or trying to control others' life and our life.
Yeah, so this is, that's true. But here, from the status of pure consciousness, meaning we were in Vaikuntha, we were in Goloka, and then we misused our independence.
Hare Krishna,
Full independence.
Prabhupada. From
Yeah.
servants to masters.
Yeah. So, which is what? So, this from the status of pure consciousness. So, this is what we have to understand. That means Prabhupada is saying that this status of pure consciousness we had when we were in the spiritual world. Then we had that little independence which we misused, and we wanted to become masters. And how do we become masters? Unless there's false ego, we can't try to become masters. The false ego is born. So now, how do we now quash this false ego? How do we destroy this false ego? What is the process? What created the false ego? I just told the answer. You also told the answer.
Independence, Prabhu.
From being servant, I wanted to become master. Right? Now what should I do? Simply reverse it. Isn't it? Is it clear? False ego is born because I wanted to become master. So when will false ego go? When I drop that. When I drop this agenda of wanting to be master. Now devotees give examples of how we are still trying to be masters. If somebody is already on the platform of being fully servant of Guru and Krishna, then yeah, it's not applicable for you. But for others, at least for me, it's applicable. Still trying to be master. So what are some examples of how we are trying to remain masters? Though theoretically we say I am servant of Krishna, this, that, and all that.
Prabhu, in material platforms, sometimes we have this attitude of my way, highway.
Yeah, my way, highway. Then
And probably I dominating more than we.
what is we?
So we is more thinking of everyone. Instead, I is more
Mm,
towards being
yeah,
selfish.
but we is also extended selfishness. Prabhupada calls it. We is
Yeah,
extended selfishness.
in the material world.
Wherever, I mean, doesn't exist in the spiritual world. Yeah, there is
Okay. Yeah.
material world only. And we, I is self-centered. We is extended selfishness. Okay, Jyoti Mataji is saying gratification of senses. Yes, we are trying to be master by trying to gratify our senses. Lack of humility. Okay. Um, that needs to be qualified. Okay, anyway. Not following Lord's instructions. Yes. So we don't actually, we don't want to take authority. We don't want to accept authority. Because see, if you accept authority, then there's no question of having any independence, trying to be masters, right? 100% of the time we should be under authority, right? And Guru, 100% of the time, not speculative. This one become one big challenge today in ISKCON, right? Everybody says they're following their Guru. Nobody will say I'm not following my Guru, but it's very speculative. Because it's like, I know when I remember when I came into ISKCON, I used to hear everybody sitting on the Vyasas and saying, Prabhupada said this, Prabhupada said this. Yeah, I used to wonder. Sometimes I used to hear something which I thought that maybe this doesn't look like Prabhupada said. Then, I used to do some research in Veda Base, talk to devotees, etc. No, Prabhupada didn't say this. Prabhupada had not said this. But it just makes my statement authentic, right? If I just say Prabhupada said it. Hmm? So it's like that, say, yeah, no. Uh, we just assume that this is what our Guru wants. We just assumed. Or we just, some actions that we are doing, we have assumed that he will approve of it. Like just now, before the class, I was reading, Vidwan Gaurang Prabhu had shared one uh, incident where somebody in Laguna Beach, so president of the temple engaged in drug peddling. The justification was, I am not taking drugs, and anything can be done for Krishna. I'm using that money for Krishna's service. Prabhupada was very upset. He was very upset, which means that first of all his philosophy was wrong, because this is four regulative principles was broken. Intoxication, supporting intoxication is also part of that. But more than that, he misunderstood Prabhupada. And those days, they were so fortunate that Prabhupada was there to say, what nonsense are you doing? Huh? But today, neither do we go consult our Guru to ask, saying, because we are afraid. Hmm? We are afraid. That's why, my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, he says that devotees come to me and tell me, FYI, Guru Maharaj, for your information, don't make any comment. Don't correct us if we are wrong. It's just for your information. This is our state of trying to remain masters even after, we come to ISKCON, we've been initiated, etc., etc. So it's just in our mind that we think that, oh, I am servant of Krishna. Uh, we call others Prabhu, but we don't really mean it. And when somebody else calls us Prabhu, we'll feel, wow, see, this is my position. You know, so we are still trying to be masters in every aspect of our life. Literally every aspect of our life. You know, unless, yeah, somebody is so absorbed in Krishna consciousness, possibly, or materially, they've actually been pushed to, to be on the receiving end. Devotees have a lot of trouble, problems, right? Then they will feel there also initially there'll be pride. My position, my money, my this, my that, I can do anything. But slowly, when that problem doesn't persist and doesn't go away, then slowly we understand, oh, I am not independent. I have to depend on Krishna. Then we will surrender. But we still want to be masters. Hmm. That's why Prabhupada is saying we cannot argue why false ego arises from pure consciousness. So actually, there is always the chance that this will happen, and therefore one has to be very careful. See, again, one whole paragraph on false ego. False ego is the basic principle for all material activities which are executed in the modes of material nature. As soon as one deviates from pure conscious Krishna consciousness, he increases his entanglement in material reaction. It's also very nice. Not in material action. See, that's why we have to read Prabhupada's every line very, very carefully. Hmm. As soon as one deviates from pure Krishna consciousness, he increases his entanglement in material reaction. Meaning there's already some reaction that we are experiencing. If we are purely Krishna conscious, then we can understand sober way. Oh, okay, this is my karma phala. Okay, I should not get too affected. I will continue to do my bhakti. I'll try to tolerate all that, right? But if we deviate from pure Krishna consciousness and come down to bodily consciousness, material consciousness, then we get more entangled in our material situation. And then we try to find solutions which may be right path, wrong path. That is furthers our entanglement. The entanglement of materialism is the material mind, and this material mind, the senses and material organs become manifest. So it's like this false ego, then mind, then senses and organs, right? As in, false ego creates uh, the functioning of the mind is driven, guided by the false ego, right? So if false ego reduces, automatically mind also becomes more sober. If false ego is very strong, mind also remains very strong on that, wrong path. So it's the false ego. It's a false ego, right? False ego manifests in terms of the activities of the mind. So we can understand how strong our false ego is based on our mind and mental activities. And we can understand how strong our mind based on how we use our senses. So it's all one influencing the other. The superior one influencing the inferior one. False ego is superior, it will influence mind. Mind will influence nature of senses, what we do, etc. etc. Right. So please remember this false ego. We should try and give up being masters. This is the most critical thing, because otherwise we can remain in Krishna consciousness for any number of years. Our chanting we will be full of distraction, because if I'm the master, I have to solve everything. If I'm the servant, I will just leave it to the master and just relax. Just what is the tension? No tension. Problem? Okay, master, here is the problem. I can't do anything about it. I don't know. You only have to guide me. You only have to just leave the problem with the master. That's all. Right? So we should stop trying to be masters. Okay, I'll end here. If there are any questions, comments, we can discuss.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Prabhu, with respect to false ego, right?
Mhm.
How much ever we are in the consciousness that we are not body and we are soul, generally when we fall sick, right? So that takes over, and I have seen my sadhana going down sometimes
Mhm.
during that time. So how do we, work towards to reduce the disturbance, Prabhu? So it's more like we have to tax the body to say that no, these are non-negotiables and you need to do it, and still go ahead and do, because that is your sadhana or that is how you surrender to Krishna. Is that how we have to uh, dedicate ourselves.
Okay. Okay. Anybody wants to answer? I know a lot of devotees are going through these challenges, so it'll be nice if somebody can answer. Anybody? Basically, Prabhu's question is, what should we do when we fall sick? How should we deal with it? Hare Krishna. Just yeah, prayas, but what kind of prayas?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
If you have all Shivams,
Huh?
you have to only surrender, nothing, Prabhu.
No,
Because
surrender means what?
otherwise it will not go.
No. Surrender means what? See, this word surrender, we should not use these words. These words are very, it
You have to
actually has
surrender
so many
someone,
things.
Guru, yeah, Krishna, God, anywhere you
Arey
have to
Baba,
surrender.
no, Gyanendra Prabhu. I am sick. I am at home. I'm fallen sick. What is surrender? What will I go to Guru? Will I go to Guru? See, we
So
have to be
whatever,
very
whatever
practical.
doctor will say, that medicine you have to take, whatever is giving, like this, whatever Guru is telling, you have to
No,
follow.
Guru is not going to get involved when I'm sick. Please understand, it's a very practical thing. It's a very practical question, right? I am fallen sick, right? Now, generally, people come down to bodily consciousness. What needs to
Yes.
be done?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
From last few days, I've been very unwell, and
Mm-hmm.
and there's fatigue, there's laziness, and especially laziness to do spiritual work.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time you're sleeping, you're on the bed, and there's a complete decline in spiritual this thing, and your body, and you are conscious of your body. How much ever you want to say no, I'm not, I'm the soul. See other people, they're getting up and they're doing it. I'm not able to do it. Like and even my mental state becomes very very feeble. Like half the time things which I shouldn't be doing, thinking, and then I do pull myself up. I don't leave my chanting, which is one boon. Like it has become more a habit, or you don't, like you cannot complete your day without chanting. And but there is a, like you don't listen to other lectures, you're not listening to classes, and you're in I'm in a fighting, like anything, and I get irritated, and I'm biting, like, I know he's the only one who has to bear it around. So I find it very difficult, Prabhu. Like I am not that I'm not in a body consciousness but I'm more in a body consciousness when I'm sick.
Okay.
I mean, like last 2-3 weeks I couldn't go to the temple, and like your food, this thing, like everything, there's a complete decline, the cycle niche, ekdam downhill.
Okay. Okay. So see, sometimes which is why I keep thinking my health woes, has given me a lot of learning. I've been struggling the last 10 years with my body. So I think, yeah, initially I also used to struggle a lot. But now for me, it's like, yeah, what is it? I mean, am I expecting tomorrow to be any better? No expectations, right? So the way I practice is that I get up in the morning and every day I'll have some surprise of something. I just say, it doesn't matter. This is my schedule for the day. This schedule, I have to stick to it. Unless it is completely disruptive, which can be 1 or 2 days, but not continuous. Can be 1 or 2 days. And when those 1 or 2 days when I'm really out of action, I'll just sleep. What I do is I just sleep. I give my body as much rest as possible. I just do my chanting. I don't do anything else. I will just sleep. And I will just give body as much rest. Medicine is anyway something that we are taking. Let's just give the body enough rest to recover, right? But why I'm sleeping? because I don't want to engage in any nonsense activity, number one, right? Number two, my consciousness is I want to give my body rest so that I can come back, so that I can, my schedule should be back to normal. You know, today if I'm really sick, I'll pray to Krishna saying that, okay, Krishna, today I'm not able to do, I'm just going to crash. Okay, but so I'll just do whatever my chanting, etc. Be very cautious about what I eat so that it'll enable me to recover. Take medicine, do whatever is required, with the only consciousness that tomorrow shouldn't be a whitewash. Tomorrow shouldn't be a whitewash. No, assume tomorrow is also whitewash because it's not in our hands, right? Again, the same mood of wanting to come out and start service, right? Now that full washout state, even if okay, little recovery happens, okay, little bit energy comes back, whatever, yeah, not fully back to normal, but then I take that opportunity and extend my chanting. Normally when I'm very unwell, I don't end up reading because it doesn't go right. I mean, mind is not ready, right? So what we should just to do, we should just hook on to chanting as much as possible, or hear kirtan. Sometimes mind rebels even that. Just hold on to chanting, right? And very good thing, if it is possible during those days, is to talk to devotees. Maybe somebody whom you are really close to, and talk to those devotees. But the whole effort has to be to come back. So when we are in this effort to come back, the consciousness becomes Krishna conscious, right? But if we don't have that, and I know many devotees struggle with the self determination. Self drive is not there to come out. See, we are not wanting to come out just so that I'm going to go back and party. We want to come out because I want to resume my services. So it is actually, when we fall sick, it is more fight than otherwise. The fight has to increase, as in our level of, you know we have to become more determined, right? Otherwise, this body will just pull us down. Body is anyway Vyadi Mandir. It's like temple of diseases. And when we are hit by it, that is the reason why association is very, very, very important. What I used to do before, when I go down like this, immediately, as soon as I little bit recover, I'm now searching all over Bhagavatam, through my notes, through Veda base, for various things Prabhupada has said, connecting to how to deal with this situation, what should be the consciousness. And, I've done this over years, just build that clear thought process, saying that this is how I need to be, right? And then now I have a rule book saying that, okay, if I'm down, these things. Of course, it's not like we've won over it, right? But yeah, it's, I would say, better than before. And it just by constant struggle, constant effort. There's no other way. We can't give up. Please, this is one thing we all have to understand. We can't give up. We can't give up. Because if we go through this, if we are able to even retain, like for example, last time we fell sick to this time we fell sick. If we are even 10% more Krishna conscious, we made progress. And we can't leave it to be like that for days and months together. That is the point Prabhupada is saying here. Be very careful. How are we be going to be very careful if our mind is, misbehaving, pushing us in a wrong direction? How can we be careful? What will save us? What is one thing that will save us? That can save us?
Prabhuji, chanting, proper chanting.
Association. Please forget
Yes.
about anything else. See, we are in trouble. Only thing that will help us is association. Because even for chanting, mind is going to be here, there, everywhere, all over the place. Right? We need, that is the reason why Upadeshamrita, Rupa Goswami is saying, Guhyam Akhyati Pruchati. Guhyam Akhyati Pruchati doesn't mean that only some esoteric topics we are discussing with somebody. No. My sadhana, the dirt in my heart is esoteric. As in, we don't reveal it to everybody, right? So Guhyam, we'll secretly reveal it to one or two devotees, right? And seek their help to pull us out. See, please read this purport again. Why I'm really stressing it. This word Prabhupada is used here. One has to be very careful. We cannot forget this. We cannot forget this at any cost. I've experienced. This one is so dangerous, and really drag us down. So, Mukanta association. That's the key. Okay. Vamshi Prabhu.
Understood, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Short question, long answer.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, can I say something?
Please.
Like last time you said, when you were sick, you make it a point now to get up at whatever time, 3, 2, and chant. And now with what you were talking, I could go through the journey with you. And what I feel is, Prabhu, the inclination to do it is not there.
Yeah.
You yourself give an excuse, "Arey, mera body nahi ut pa raha, main ut nahi pa rahi."
Yeah.
So actually, it's not that you can't do it. It's the lack of inclination which
Yeah.
holds you back.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, like when you were speaking, that is exactly what I was feeling. What exactly I've done in the last month. ठीक है, chanting to ho jayega, but and you're into other things apart from Krishna. So you can think about Krishna and you can still be Krishna consciousness, even though you're materially, your body is not okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay. 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 There's nothing else, then we'll close. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarupeshta Kripa Sindhudev Chapatitana Bhavan
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanavad.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dhanavad Prabhu. Dhanavad to all assembled.
Hare Krishna, Dandu.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
want
devotees.
to just remind me tomorrow. I want, or not tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday, right? Monday. I want to make one point about devotees exiting as soon as we stop. Maybe people are in a hurry, which I don't deny. But the absorption that I talk about is, there here is a gathering of Vaishnavas. We're not physically present, right? That's a different thing. But we should at least have the humility to chant pranam mantra, offer obeisances mentally to everybody and go. Why Sumantra Mataji says, obeisances to everybody. She's by age, number of years in Krishna consciousness, everything she's above, more than us, right? But it's something that we have to learn. Tomorrow, please, Monday, please remind me somebody if I forget, because this is called absorption in Krishna consciousness. This is Krishna consciousness. How much time does it take to offer pranam mantra? 10 seconds? We don't have so much, we have so less time that I want to exit in 10 seconds. What am I going to achieve? Right? So this is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means conscious about where we are, what we are doing, with whom are we doing. It pains me sometimes, right? Like, these things are not to be told. These are fundamentals. This ABCD etiquette. These need to be learnt. Otherwise, progress is going to be a big challenge. Anyway, okay. So somebody kindly remind me on Monday. Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Sure.